tuning into Bricks. I'm Chris, and today I'm here with my massive March LEGO haul. This is almost every single LEGO set that released on March 1st, 2022. I cannot wait to get into this, so let's just jump right into the haul. Alright, so starting off here, we have the LEGO Creator 3-in-1 Castle. And I wanted to start with this because this was not actually one of these sets that released on March 1st. Actually, this set came out in August of last year in the US, and I actually already got one. So you might be wondering, why am I getting 3 more? Well, you see, I recently discovered an absolutely fantastic mod combining all 3 copies of this castle, so I figured I had to build it, so I just managed to get 3 more copies of the set for myself to build that. Speaking of sets with multiple copies, we can now turn our eye to something that did release on March 1st. This is the LEGO Batman Art Mosaic, specifically the Jim Lee DC collection. You can see that I got a few extras because I wanted to make all different variations of the mosaics with Batman, the Joker, and Harley Quinn. But what surprisingly is not shown either on the front or back of these boxes is a third option. If you buy 3 more of each of the set, you can actually combine them to a much larger 3-length style Batman mosaic, which I absolutely wanted to build myself because it's my goal to build pretty much all of the different variations of the mosaics that I personally am interested in, which is why I wanted to get 6 copies of each. I already did it for the Star Wars and Iron Man one, so why not? Moving onwards to our next theme, we might as well take a look at Ninjago. So Ninjago is continuing their core lineup for this year's March releases, starting off with a ninja training center, which connects to the larger dojo from the start of this year. Now, I personally have heard a few mixed things about the set. As you can see, most of the play is focused on using the Zane spinner. And I've seen this work to varying extents. I hear that it doesn't work all too well, so I'll have to try to find out. Honestly, my biggest disappointment with this is that unfortunately it does not include an exclusive Spinjitzu Zane minifigure. As you can see here, the rest of the $10 gimmick sets featuring Jay, Lloyd, and Kai all have exclusive Spinjitzu variants of each of the characters. For whatever reason, they did not do it for Zane at all. At least we did get his spinner, because they didn't even do one at all for Nia or Cole, not even a spinner. So I guess we're lucky that we even got Zane, because nowadays, LEGO only seems to be doing these for certain characters and not the entire ninja team, which is too bad, but understandable. Moving on from Ninjago though, we can now take a look at our next theme, and just moving on upwards here, I want to start looking at the LEGO City sets. So the March releases for City are actually inspired by NASA base camps and rovers and spacecraft, specifically going into space. So this is probably the coolest LEGO City space base we've ever gotten. I love the minifigures with dual molded arms. Check out that brand new dual molded transparent blue and gray rock piece, that's really cool. And this all in all is a really interesting lineup of sets for space exploration, and is honestly the closest thing we've gotten to an original space theme from LEGO in a long time. These are even more pushing it towards the fantasy sort of boundary for space than the previous City space sets did, and for that I'm really thankful, because I really have been missing out on authentic original LEGO space, even though these are supposed to be somewhat realistic. There is still a bit of a fantastical charm to them. You can see here some great spacesuits, some little spacecraft, and even the rover itself is looking really good. I feel the cockpit probably could have been improved a little bit. It feels a little rudimentary, especially when compared to that awesome concept by NASA down at the bottom in the corner there, but all in all, I am pretty happy with this entire wave. I really do appreciate all the new molds and different minifigure designs and accessories they're bringing us, because of course, the logo used for each of the minifigures is the Classic Space logo. So these would fit right in with other Classic Space minifigures. Moving onwards, let's take a look at the only Marvel set released for March. This is the 18+ Infinity Saga Thor's Hammer set. It's actually based off of the first Thor movie. They actually include an original Thor minifigure that's exclusive to the set. It's really interesting seeing how it actually has a full-on strap piece there as well. I can expect the build to be a little bit repetitive for this, but it is a really cool display piece, so I cannot wait to build it. I just wish the rumors about this set turned out to be true and instead it was a DC set featuring the Tower of Fate, but hey, you know, we can't have everything. Moving onwards, these are actually some bricks and pieces that I got from an order in January. You can see some of the animals and spacesuits and Monkey Kid figures there. I will be diving into these in a separate video, so I won't spend too much time on it now, but it is kind of unfortunate that Bricks and Pieces is going away as a service. They're combining it with Pick-a-Brick. We'll see if they actually still have the part variety they used to, but we'll take a look at that in a different video. Moving on from that, we can take a look at some of the Harry Potter sets released for March 1st. These are two of the different classroom sets, continuing with the classroom sets that we got last year. So they essentially are large human-sized book pieces that actually can fold open and reveal a classroom inside. One thing I love about the Harry Potter line are the absolutely incredibly detailed minifigures featuring dual molding, side printing, very specialized detail that really do depict the characters pretty much perfectly. We're getting collectible minifigure series quality designs in each of the standard sets, which is something I really appreciate and wish more LEGO themes did. The Hogwarts Hospital Wing is one of the continuations of their kind of more basic, more rectangular style of Hogwarts building lineup. I do think the previous clock tower they did was, in my opinion, a lot better because that was more of a display piece than a play piece like this, but it is still great to get our minifigure selection here. All of the minifigures are actually pretty unique to the set, even though they are variants of existing characters, and best of all, we also get a baby LEGO minifigure head with a skeleton print on it, which so sadly is not available on Bricks and Pieces. Believe me, I tried and my order got canceled. Moving on to the final build here, this is the Hogwarts Magical Trunk. For $60, this may not seem worth it until you take a closer look, where as you can finally see, this is actually a massive minifigure pack. Not only does this include a ton of different minifigures and minifig pieces, but it also introduces a brand new color for LEGO. It's a new skin color depicting different races, which is really great to see, and it also includes extra pieces to change the color of the trunk for the different houses. To be honest, not really sure if that was the best use of pieces because probably around 60% of the pieces here are just simply not going to be used, but I really appreciate the effort towards giving people different designs and allowing people to customize the Hogwarts students exactly the way they want. It even includes an extra sticker sheet to help with this customization, so that is all really great. Moving onwards, we can take a look at the Star Wars sets of March 1st, 2022, starting off with Boba Fett's throne room. This is actually based off of the Mandalorian Season 2's finale, so it showcases Boba Fett and Agent May Fennec Shand, as well as all of the different characters from that particular scene, specifically Bib Fortuna, featuring a brand new mold, as well as the return of the Gamorrean Guard and a Quarren for the first time in LEGO form. Moving onwards from that, we have the Dark Trooper Attack. This is essentially almost like a Dark Trooper battle pack. One thing I do like is that if you do get multiples of this, you not only get a ton of different Dark Troopers, but you also can extend the hallway, which is also just a really useful build for Star Wars stuff in general. Moving onwards, those are really the only minifigure scale sets we got, and these ones here are specifically 18 plus busts. So speaking of Dark Troopers, we have the Dark Trooper bust there. Not a huge fan of that one, not really sure if it turned out right, but the Mandalorian bust is looking really good, and I'm actually a big fan of the Luke Skywalker helmet bust right here. This is a really accurate depiction of the helmet. Sure, maybe the visor isn't quite perfect because they really did the best they could with existing pieces, but everything else is so good about this model. I cannot wait to have that fully built. Moving onwards to a completely different theme, we can take a look at Disney Princesses, which only got 2 releases this month. The large Ariel's Underwater Palace is actually really good. I really appreciate their castle and palace designs. Kind of makes me feel reminiscent of Lego Castle and whatnot and more fantasy-inspired designs, and this would fit right at home as just a simple Atlantis-inspired build. So even outside of the context of Disney Princess, it works great. And check out those amazing dual-molded mermaid tails. Those look really interesting and really cool. Moving onwards, we just got another 4+ Disney set. This is Elsa and the Nock Ice Stable. I just think it's a really nice small build with the very nice opalescent and translucent horse right there. Moving on from the Disney Princesses line, which only got a few small releases, we have some cute animals from LEGO Creator. Creator has really been killing it on the animal territory this year, first off with the Majestic Tiger and now with these, and we also get a Super Robot mech as well as the Vespa. Now the Super Robot is actually special because it was designed by a ton of famous LEGO designers who put a lot of love and effort into it, so I wanted to pick it up, especially for only $10. As well as the Creator Expert Vespa here for 18+ sets. This is a very nice kind of baby blue colored Vespa, which is a really nice addition to the Creator Expert vehicle line, and I can't wait displaying this alongside all of the other vehicles, particularly the Harley-Davidson motorcycle, especially because they're similar in concept. Moving onwards from the Creator theme though, I think it's time to talk about our next theme up here. Speaking of vehicles, we have the Speed Champions lineup. So for Speed Champions this year, we get a ton of different amazing cars. As usual, some very realistic style builds. really a big fan of the very realistic direction they've been taking these Speed Champions cars, especially with the 8-wide stud status. I typically did not originally collect Speed Champions, but after they released the 8 stud wide cars, I had to collect them all because I am in love with these designs. I only wish LEGO would do something with racers that actually branched out to more creative stuff and not just realistic cars, but for now we're just getting realistic stuff. Moving on to Technic, we have this motorized dual-sided vehicle here. It has a really interesting flipping function where you have it flipping on one side for the app-controlled transformation vehicle. You've got a blue side and an orange side. We've also got an all-terrain vehicle here. This one I'm not super convinced on the color scheme-wise. It's supposed to be an ATV, but we'll see how it looks in real life. Now this John Deere tractor is actually really good. For a smaller Technic set, I really do like the shaping of it. And lastly, I wanted to get one of the older Technic sets. The motorcycle actually released at the first half of this year, but after watching Jang's review, I realized how good it is, and the telehandler just released as well. I also forgot one last creator set, the Fantasy Forest creatures here as well. I always love fantasy-inspired animals, and this is a really cute design. Moving onwards to LEGO Brickheadz, we have the somewhat overpriced $50 Brickheadz Spice Girls Tribute. Now, Brickheadz are normally $10 a piece, which I think is great value, but it would have been nice to get a bit of a discount on that one. I also got the Chip and Dale Brickhead set, which is relatively new as well, I believe, for somewhat around March, as well as the Woody and Bo Peep set, which released a few days earlier than March 1st, but really only just arrived for my March 1st haul. Moving onwards from there, we have pretty much summed up the entire haul except for a few other stragglers here. This Friends set actually came out quite a while ago, but I did just want to get it because it does kind of feel like it would just fit in as a realistic cafe in a LEGO City diorama. Now that was a free set that we just passed on, as well as the Lots of Dots set right here. This was a second set. And finally, a turtle protection vehicle from Friends. Really just extra smaller sets that I got, specifically to increase my limit for free gifts. The Extra Dots here set is actually really great value for its price. I believe it's only $20 for a ton of different useful LEGO pieces. Moving onwards from there, we can now take a look at some of the free gifts themselves. I got 3 copies of the Vintage Taxi with these orders. So these were actually a GWP from earlier in January that I managed to get even more duplicates of just because some of the pre-orders here, as well as the Jane Goodall tribute, which was special for March 1st, 2022. And this is a really nice set featuring the return of the chimpanzee mold from the collectible minifigure series, which we literally have not seen in years. But with that, we have finally summed up this massive March 1st, 2022 LEGO haul. Boy, do I have a lot of building to do, and I cannot wait to get started, and if there's anything you want to see reviewed, let me know. Alright, and with that, we have summed up this massive March LEGO haul. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of these sets? Do you like them? Do you dislike them? Are there any sets that you're looking forward to getting yourselves? And if you have any of these sets already, what do you think of them? And which is your favorite? Thank you all so much for tuning into Duck Breaks. Stay tuned for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thanks so much, and bye-bye for now.